we didn't really know what anti-Semitism was. First, I think we were probably both in our 20s before we even learned that you could that there were certain names that were basically Jewish names. Like Goldstein. I didn't know Goldstein was a Jewish name,
but
I wasn't taught that growing up. But you go outside of the South, and anti-Semitism is like a deal, man.
But look, dude, you know what? There is good news.
There's good news? You got some good news?
I do have good news. And if you're a Christian, this should be something that you cling to every day. Every day. There is hope. We don't have to spend all our energy on hate. Our energy, if we will just stop for a second and recognize, A, that there is a God, B, He is in control, whether you care to see it or not, C, He loves us, all of us. He loves homosexuals. He loves atheists, drug addicts. He loves wife abusers, puppy rapists. There's a scripture that Casey and I have come to grow quite fond of. It's found in the Old Testament of the Holy Bible, the book of 2 Chronicles, the 7th chapter and the 14th verse.
That if my people, which are called by my name, will humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, then what, Marty?
Then I will hear from heaven. I will forgive their sins. And here's the hope, people. And I will heal their land. People, if you are a Christian right now and you are listening to this broadcast, and you want all this, gay versus Christian stuff to go away. You want this deal that's happening with Iran and the Middle East exploding to go away. If you would like the nation of Israel to once again be great representatives of God's people and be at peace.
If you would like to be able to trust what you hear on the network news.
If you would like to see politicians in office that tell the truth and are genuinely looking out for the best interests of their country, there is such an easy way to get all of that accomplished. All we got to do is humble ourselves and seek the face of God. Seek God's will. That means to pray.
That's how
and turn from our wicked ways, like trying to make a right out of two wrongs, trying to stop hate with hate, preaching against bullying while bullying someone. If we could just, by some strange miracle, do some of those things, just maybe God might start to bring some healing to this land. We had a big discussion in our Wednesday night Bible study not too long ago about how, as Christians, we're supposed to submit to the authority that of the men and women that govern us, because according to our scriptures, all power and authority is granted by God. In other words, like President Barack Obama, he was granted this authority by God. And the discussion was about, should we, as Christians, be meek and take it, turn the other cheek, not be so outspoken? I cannot wrap my mind around that, because you know what? It's something we brought out during that Bible study. If you study the scriptures and you know the Israel's history, there was about 400 years there where God put enemies of the Jews in authority over them. There was a time when King Nebuchadnezzar, who, by the way, God told his people, if you do not humble yourselves and pray and seek my face and turn from your wicked ways, well, then I am going to send a ruler
named Nebuchadnezzar,
and he is going to mess y'all up. And I am not going, y'all ain't going to hear from me. That's precisely what happened. But Nebuchadnezzar went so far as to say, hey, you Hebrews, no more praying to your God. And as a matter of fact, when you hear a certain trumpet sound, you're going to turn and start praising me. You're going to pray to me, according to our scriptures. Daniel, from Daniel and the Lion's Den, said, no way. No way am I going to pray and praise this king. No way am I going to stop praying to my God. No way. It's kind of a conundrum. See, people say that the Bible is full of contradictions because it says things like that. You're supposed to submit to the authority because all authority is granted to God, by God. And on the other hand, you have an example of that authority that God put in place.
And then you had the example of Jesus in the temple in Jerusalem when he went in there and he kicked over tables and run the money changers out of the temple.
Because they were doing wrong in God's name. They turned the house of prayer to a den of thieves.
So, I mean, there are times when we are to speak. I mean, in this, we fall back on Ecclesiastes. There's a time to speak and a time to be silent.
There's a time to heal and a time to kill. There's a time for war and a time for peace.
Right now, in this time in our country, it's not the time for Christians to be silent. We can't be silent about our tax dollars going to fund Planned Parenthood and the abortions that they perform. We can't continue to be silent about things like that. We're not called upon to be silent for things like that.
No.
So, but we do have to obey laws. We still have to render the tax money.
And let's not forget, if you are a Christian, you are called upon to be a warrior.
But as Christian warriors, the best position for us to be fighting in is on our knees.
Yep.
And that's why Marty and I keep reading that same scripture over and over and over again every show we do.
And you know what? When y'all start doing it, maybe we won't have to say that so many times, because I can see the eye rolls as we're broadcasting. Man, I wish they'd stop with this Christian mess. Man, I wish they'd stop praying. Man, I wish they'd stop preaching at people and go back to being funny and talking nasty. Well, I wish you people would grow up, wake up, look around you, and realize that maybe you're not the center of the universe. Maybe there is something bigger out there. Maybe the solutions to all of our problems really are right in front of your own face.
Maybe you need to blow the dust off of that Bible that's sitting on the shelf in your house and open it up and start seeking the face of God.
Maybe if you did some of those things, maybe your lives might start working out a little bit better. Maybe if you put your faith in something a little bigger than yourself. Maybe if you actually bothered to read and study. Read something besides about some stupid celebrities. Read something that isn't quite so funny. You know, we've said it repeatedly, our Bible's not just necessarily a holy book.
It's also an instruction manual.
It's also a history book, man.
Yeah.
Backed up by archaeology and science. Every time they've tried to disprove the existence or the reality of anything that happened in the Bible, they sure do end up changing their mind because the evidence is right there.
But it's also an instruction manual. If you want to see how to get, because there were examples in the Bible of when Judah or Israel heeded the words of one of the prophets or a judge or somebody and said, "Ooh, we better fix what we're doing right now." And when they turned around, humbled themselves, prayed, sought the face of God, and turned from their wicked ways, then God healed their land. And all of a sudden, they prospered. They had a good king. You know,
spend less time making fun of Christians, more time trying to understand them. Because some of us, we're not going to be so silent. We're not going to be so submissive. And we're not, this is the most important thing, we're not going to deny who we are anymore. We're not going to be ashamed of it. And we're not going to shut up just because it makes you uncomfortable. If what we say makes you uncomfortable, you really might want to look into why. Now, me and Casey's going to work real hard over the next few days. Keep checking back at the website, by the way. It's back on actively posting now. Now that we've sort of got things organized a little bit better now. We got some of the illness and sickness up out of the house. We've got the fire in our bellies, folks. And I'm telling you, you're gonna want to keep looking.
And it's easier to have the fire in your bellies when you don't have the phlegm in your lungs.
Well, man, I hate to say it, but gosh, our little rainbow is
long past over.
I won't say long past, but it's up there.
And by the way, we're not going to call names, but certain members of our audience have some medical tests coming up. Certain members of the crew here talking to you right now have some tests coming up.
Well,
and they're unpleasant. And so God knows who the people are. So we would like to ask all of you that are out there listening to our voices, if you pray, throw up some prayers. We'll just call them for unspoken prayer requests.
Yeah.
Throw up some prayers for some of the people.
And us.
And us.
And us. Throw up some prayers for us. So that we can do the right things.
Yes. Marty and I, we have in mind, we feel like we're being led to make some changes to the show, like maybe even adding a video component to things. And so we need some prayers that we do things right, that Marty and I have our minds right, that we're doing the right things. So throw some prayers up for us. We would appreciate it.
All right, guys. Until next time, please be good to each other and pray. Give it a shot. What do you have to lose?
Good night, y'all.
We'll see you next time.
Love.